Today we need to get into Jung Kook's message from the military and people saying that he was getting emotional. We need to get into people saying that Jung Kook might be stalked and privates taken in the military. And then we have a speech that was believed to be stolen from RM. Say Dumplings is Dave, decide hater or not. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, taste spilling mug merch, and let's go. People were absolutely dying after it seemed like RM's speech was plagiarized. After someone had a speech and then took his, the fandom went crazy and people were basically saying that this is what happens when you are a BTS fan and you can't stop thinking about BTS all hours of the day. So what happened and what is going on? If you're not familiar, a long time ago, BTS was invited to perform and also give a speech at the UN. This was a big deal because it was supposed to signify nations coming together, especially Korea and America. And it was supposed to signify kind of this cultural acceptance of Kpop coming into the US. A lot of people objected to the idea that BTS or K-pop groups should be the one giving the speech as it's music and it's not supposed to be political, but that was a debate for another thing. And quite frankly, everyone was glad that someone did it. If it had to be someone, why not be one of the biggest boy bands in the world right now? RM was the one who did the speech and he gave a really beautiful speech about love, acceptance, and learning to stand for yourself, but also learning that no matter what you are, what gender identity you are, and what you identify as, all those things, that they should be accepted and you should accept yourself and love yourself for those things. RM said this exact phrase, "Tell me your story, I want to hear your voice, and I want to hear your conviction. No matter who you are, where you're from, your skin color, gender identity, speak yourself." Now keep in mind that this speak yourself part was more so like a little bit of a promotion for their album and their message that they've always said to the world. But then it was very interesting when a beauty pageant winner actually ended up taking the speech and changing it very little bit and using this exact speech and basically won. The beauty pageant itself asked a very interesting question and asked if the beauty pageant contestant was a genie in a bottle who she would prefer to serve as her master. And this is a very interesting question and a question that I guess shows who she would like to serve, and acceptable answers probably were going to be things like the president or a specific nation or someone that this person idolizes. The beauty pageant contestant could have easily just said RM or BTS, but instead, interestingly enough, she answered that she would like to serve her mother. And then she, funny enough, transitions from that answer about her mother to say, all I can say about this question is that whoever you are, whatever your skin color, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then she ended it with just speak yourself. Now, ARMYs had a very funny reaction to this as they were mostly positive. People were laughing over this idea that the contestant was just trying to find a way to get that quote in, and also joking to say that this is what happens when you're a BTS fan and the only thing you can think about is BTS and their speeches. Now, it sounds similar, but if there are any attacks on her for this, I think I need to remind everyone that not every speech or public talk is completely made up by the person who is speaking, but sometimes there's a team behind them that may push them to say what they say. But anyway, I loved it and I'm glad that she said what she said. It's funny because even though the members are enlisted and not currently active, they still are being mentioned in pop culture, being used in pop culture, and of course that means a lot to us, and that keeps their name in our minds. Of course, HYBE has also done such an amazing job at keeping up with the content and still producing and posting the content as the boys are away. Recently, they uploaded the behind the music video sketch video where basically we get to see Jungkook interact with Usher. This is for the Standing Next to You music video. And we got to see how cute their interactions are with each other and just how beautiful they work together. Two icons working together. Jungkook left a message that I think made people really emotional. He mentioned that by the time we would finish watching this video, or by the time this video would get posted, we would feel a bit melancholy. This is because we might be happy that we are seeing a new update. We might be happy that we are getting a behind the scenes, but on the other hand, we might be upset to know that Jungkook has gone and left. Now, there's a lot of controversial opinions as to whether or not the boys are actually happy in enlisting or if they would prefer not to be there. Now, I want to give a little bit of perspective. Obviously, I don't think they are 100% excited and happy to be there. I think they are aware that it's something that must be done. It's the law, it's something that their family did, it's something their friends do, it's something that they have to do. But do they want to be there? I don't think that they do. Would they prefer to be out and about and making music and doing what they already were doing? Probably. People had some mixed opinions of if the boys in the military were just pretending to say that they were happy to go as a sense of patriotism. So the boys talking about the military in such a positive way, the fact that the boys have moved up in rank in such a fast way has all shown and made it appear like the military is such a fun place for all these little Korean teens or adults to enlist in. And it's a way to kind of spread the sort of propaganda that exists in South Korea. However, I don't think that this was Jung Kook's message in the music video sketch, but I do think that could be a sense of why the fandom and maybe he himself would feel melancholy. However, after this message, the fandom erupted to show support, and a lot of them were saying that they were very excited that Jung Kook gets to go so that he can come back early and that the fandom will be awaiting his return when he gets back, and we will all be streaming and enjoying his music in the meantime. You really can't find a more dedicated fandom that is willing to stream every single day. I mean, the fact of the matter is BTS has long disappeared from the spotlight sort of as a group, and yet every single day they're still trending on Twitter. There are still thousands of people writing things every single day and trending things. BTS, while still not active, currently has still remained extremely relevant and top of mind to thousands and millions of people. Now, the military is a bit of a scary conversation because I think a lot of people are scared over the idea that the boys are going to be mistreated in the military. And a lot of this conversation I have kind of debunked and talked about on my channel, but there has been some new information that I kind of want to bring up and talk about, as I felt like a lot of the stuff that I spoke about before might not have been 100% informed of this information that I recently just got. There's been a couple of celebrities and K-pop idols that have gotten arrested over this idea of evading the military service. Now, all of this is public information. I'm not going to sit here and specifically address which idol or whatever it is, but this has been the case. Now, each of these situations is a case-by-case basis. You can't just put a blanket statement out there and say that every single person who evaded or decided to break that law was doing it out of bad intention, that they didn't want to serve their country and that they just were just a bad person, because everyone's case is different. There's been a case in which people would feel like if they were to enlist right now and leave their company, business, whatever it is, that the company would fail. And in which case, if they were to take a hiatus from that business for 2 years, they won't have a business to come back to. And so obviously this makes it very tempting when approached with this idea that they could somehow find a loophole or do something, maybe illegally, to try to avoid going and enlisting, that they might do that. Fortunately for BTS members, never had to do that, nor did they actually do that. So that was really good. However, they did have a lot of privilege in the reason that as to why they didn't evade, and it's because they and the company have made so much money from BTS's name, they can afford to never work again, and they will literally be fine. So if they were to come back from the military and not a single person remembers them, they will still be able to keep going and do whatever they've been doing. Another instance in which some idols might have chosen to evade the service or want to evade the service is given the treatment could be really bad. It was reported that some K-pop idols were getting such bad treatment, like getting stalked in the showers to getting their underwear stolen from them, that this could make any fan nervous for their favorite K-pop idol. I mean, this was believed to happen even for someone like G-Dragon, who's huge. So imagine if BTS were to enlist, how the people would have reacted to that. People have been scared for a long time that Jung Kook will get stalked, or people will take photos of him in the shower, to even his private stuff being taken from him, such as underwear and those things. And I know a lot of people like to say things like, well, if that were to happen, wouldn't it be broadcasted everywhere and everyone would know? Not necessarily. The military wants to be seen as such a great place to be in and enlist, and they want to use BTS as that example. They might try to hide or bury that story, but that's exactly why I think the military would try so hard to make sure that BTS actually gets treated very well, because if they don't, they can just come out and say that, and that would look terrible for the military. So while it's of course scary to think about the fact that he might not be safe in the military, it's also very interesting to think that he probably is okay. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, a link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you so much. Bye.